Hey people, happy Saturday. Oh, I was getting cozy, just like looking at videos online. I'm like, I should do some reading, some education, so I might as well share it with you beautiful people as I get cozy here. All right, so this book is called Earth Medicine. It's one of those books I kind of skim through. I never read it cover to cover. So we're going to just like read one section today that I thought would be cool to read. I feel like, look, I want to wear my sunglasses because the light, but then you see little circles. Anyway, okay. All right, we'll take that off. I hope you all had a yummy dinner. Okay, so let me just first tell you this is revealing the hidden teachings of the Native American medicine wheel. So if any Native Americans out there recommend this book, I'd like to know. Kenneth Meadows wrote it, and he's an internationally renowned authority on contemporary shamanism and native traditions and holds regular workshops and seminars on these subjects. He's the author of several best-selling books. But is he Native American? That's what I want to know. He spent 30 years of his life seeking answers to some of the most perplexing mysteries. Who am I? What am I? Okay, so I don't think he was. He said he was given the name Flying Horse, implying the communicator of information, and commissioned to construct a lantern of books on what he had learned. This is his first book. He examined the theories of materialistic science only to find that many are based upon assumptions. He came in touch with the simplicity of Native American spirituality on his search, which he saw as a wisdom that was conveyed through oral traditions. All right. I found this doodle that I think I did, which is in the book. I don't know if that was me, or I don't even know. Okay. Anyway, I would like to know the opinion of people of this book. All right, so I want to talk about this is a really interesting section of the book. It's called The Personality Mask. Okay. I love psychology. I took abnormal psychology in college too, and it just kind of drove me crazy because, if you break down the word psychology, it means the study of the spirit. But if you study psychology, like in college and stuff, it really is the study of the mind. And so it kind of takes the spirituality out of it, which is why I decided to go into more like homeopathy and massage therapy and qigong, because for me, that deals with true psychology in a deeper way than just studying the mind, like studying everything. Okay. So the personality mask. Here we go. So let's get cozy. When an American Indian painted his face, it was generally for the purpose of expressing personality or a particular quality or trait or emotion. Often it was representative of an animal or a bird that emphasizes the desired quality or trait. It was a mask, a means of expression. Likewise, your personality is only an expression of you. It is not actually you, any more than your physical body is you. Wait, it is not actually you any more than your physical body is you. Okay? It belongs to you like the physical body belongs to you. It is yours, but it's not you. It is the way you experience and respond to the world. I like that. It's similar to philosophies and Bach flower essence healing. The personality mask is what the true self, the inner you, puts on to perceive the physical world in the dimension of time. According to the oral teachings, there are 12 categories of such masks, 12 principal areas of perception, 12 broad ways of expression, one for each segment of the wheel of the year. These were examined in some detail in part 2 of this book. See, in Bach-Flower essence theory as well, the personality is, or maybe the ego is what you want to heal. You want to heal the mind so that you're more in alignment with your spirit, which in this case might be considered you. And, to be yourself fully is to grasp onto your spirit. Okay. The personality self is in conscious existence, a state in which you see, feel, touch, taste, smell, know, and think, but are limited by space and time. But the true self, the inner you, is in a state that is beyond time and space. Those statements may appear to be either profound sense or simplistic nonsense. Actually, they are neither. They are facts of our daily experience. For instance, when you go to sleep, you withdraw from conscious existence by leaving the world of the senses. When you wake in the morning, you may remark that you had a good night's sleep by not recalling anything of what happened during that sleeping state. You have no memory of that state when you are withdrawn from conscious existence, only an awareness that somehow it was good. During those hours, you never cease to be, even though you were not conscious of self. A lifetime is like the waking time. Death is like the sleep time, when we are withdrawn from waking existence, yet never cease to be. So each lifetime is like a new day, another opportunity to develop character, which is a condition or quality of the nature of developing true self, that inner you. Each lifetime is a challenge to grasp the potentials with which we have each been entrusted and to nurture the inherent talents into expression and form. Each lifetime is based on the achievements and failures of our former lives. This is healing because of all the grief we're all dealing with right now and all the deaths in our families and friends, and I don't know, it's just a little bit healing for me to talk about there being something beyond life when we miss the souls that have touched us so much. It's like, I absolutely believe in past lives, but I guess I have no proof. So, except for the fact that I've astral projected before. So, it's just still really sad when we lose people in this life. Anyway, I guess we're not meant to know everything, otherwise we would, right? Okay, so let me just read that last sentence. Just as each new day is affected by what has been done in the days before, so our next lifetime will be shaped and conditioned by what we make of the present one. That is so deep. I'm going to say that one more time. Just as each new day is affected by what has been done in the days before, our next lifetime will be shaped and conditioned by what we make of the present one. We are what we have become through what we were before. Your true self, the inner you, did not come into being on the day of your birth. Only our logical and conditioned thinking leads us to assume there was a beginning. After all, when was the beginning of you? Was it the time of your birth? There's a mosquito flying around my head. I see you. Speaking of death and life. Oh my gosh. Literally, the mosquito landed on the book. I could have literally closed the book and killed the mosquito. But it's like, what were you in your past life, mosquito? All right, I'm getting distracted here. What was the beginning of you? Was it at the time of your birth? Hardly. For did you not exist in your mother's womb before the day of your birth? Perhaps it was the time of your conception, but surely that was only when the physical body you occupy began to be knitted together and fashioned in accordance with the DNA code contained within the genes. That's kind of cool to think of yourself as being knitted, DNA codes knitted together. That was not you. It was only a blueprint for the vehicle being provided for you to occupy for the span of a few years in time. A few years. It was only an expression of you. The real you then has no material existence. The personality mask you put on has only temporary existence. You appeared in the physical world, apparently out of nowhere. And one day you will disappear from the physical world at death, and the real you will return from whence it came. So, where is that? The dimension of existence in which you now appear is the dimension of time. The mosquito is biting my foot. Ugh. Ugh. Where am I? And the timing of your physical appearance not only determined the perception point from which you were to look out and observe physical existence, but also the category of personality mask you were to put on and through which to formulate and express your true self and the earth influences with which you were to work. Mosquito bite. So, the ancient knowledge postulated 12 broad personality categories, 12 perception positions on the wheel of the year. Why isn't it 13? Isn't 13 the moon calendar? 12 expressions of earth influence. No position is better or more important than another, just different. Each provides essential qualities to further the progress and development of the individual true self behind the personality. No position is more advantageous than another, none easier or more difficult. Each provides responsibilities and challenges, advantages to work with, and disadvantages to overcome. Each contains its own strengths and weaknesses, strengths to enable growth and development, and weaknesses to be turned into strengths. The wheel or web was not regarded as a ring or band which contained these categories in a restrictive way. Form and formlessness, matter and spirit, birth and death, mortality and immortality, time and eternity, all were within this circle, which was itself spiraling out in all directions and in all dimensions. It was in a state of constant motion, but not like a piece of machinery which goes round and round in a repetitive movement. It was a slice of a spiral. One revolution of the spiral brought us back facing the same direction in which we started, but not to the same place because we had moved on and upwards. In nature, the wheel of the year turns as it is affected by the sun, which governs the seasons and days, and by the moon, which man is able to mark the months, and the weeks. In other words, the sun and moon are vital components in the technology of time, which is the dimension we're now in. The sun and the moon were also regarded amongst ancient peoples as representative of the duality of the masculine and feminine principles inherent in nature, and of the active and passive, conceptual and receptive forces that permeate it. The moon, in its feminine aspect, was often represented as presenting the four faces of a woman. The waxing moon was represented as the face of a young maiden, the full moon, that of a mother, the waning moon, that of a wise grandmother, and the dark unseen moon, that of the hag. Each indicated the way energies were being reflected in the world of form on Earth. The dark face of the moon was seen as the potential that was hidden and waiting to come into expression. The waxing moon as that which was developing and coming into maturity, the full moon as the fully developed and mature, the waning moon as the giving out and sharing of that which had been nurtured and developed, and back again to the dark moon and a period of resting and renewal and absorption before the cycle begins again. As light from the moon was seen as being reflected in this cyclical way, so similarly, the characteristics of each personality mask were observed to find expression and to develop in four ways, though each was not separate but merged or flowed into the others. Although the moon's energies acted on the earth and on ourself, the earth's influences were characterized by the sun and earth as well as the moon. It was not the moon that was said to govern these influences and responses. The moon was an indicator of the manner of their movement and of their unfolding. The moon indicated the way these earth influences were operating. For instance, the waxing moon was seen as a beautiful maiden absorbed in her own attractiveness and drawing things towards her, and so it was indicative of the developing personality. The full moon was seen as the young mother devoted to her offspring and product of her involvement, and therefore symbolic of the developed and mature personality. The waning mood was represented as the grandmother concerned with the well being of an entire family community and recognizing the responsibility of giving and sharing what has been learned from the experience of development. It symbolized the extrovert personality. The dark face of the moon, represented as a hag, is the least understood and often ignored or even excluded from some Western esoteric teachings. It was both at the end and the beginning of a cycle and indicated a turning inward, an absorption of what had gone before, and a nurturing of the potential of what was yet to become. It indicated the introverted personality. It was symbolic of a concentration of essentials and the banishing of worldly cares. That sounds like the Wuji in Wuji Gong. So I guess you could say when you're doing the Wuji, you're introverted. So maybe like introverted isn't even the right name. Maybe it's just, in the womb space, in the zone. Because introverted can be interpreted as like you don't like people, but it's like maybe it's like you're in your womb space. Anyway, broadly speaking, the qualities and characteristics of each personality category and each earth influence unfolds like the petals of a flower. The developing personality is like a bud which grips the qualities tight to itself and is concerned with how everything is affecting it personally, but which is gradually learning to open up. The developed personality is one that has brought the qualities to full expression. The extroverted personality is one that has developed a more holistic attitude and has learned not only to balance individual needs with those of others, but is outgoing in the desire to share. The introverted personality is one that is expressing characteristics with a more spiritual emphasis and with regard to the well being of the greater whole. Interesting definition, huh? As a general guide, here is a brief summary of the four aspects of each birth totem. Falcons. Oh, wow. There's like animals. Okay, I guess this is part of the book. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is the personality masks. The next chapter is the personality modes. All right, let's just go with this. Falcons. Introverted falcons will be okay, this is March 21st to April 12th. I guess we've got 12 categories here that we're going to go through somewhat quickly. Falcons. Introverted falcons will be self-centered and emphasize the need for self-gratification. They are likely to put their own needs first and foremost. The developing falcon will be a full grandiose schemes, but may lack the staying power to see them through. The developed falcon will be generous and good-natured and influence others by example. The extroverted falcon is likely to be involved in actions that are mutually beneficial, but has a tendency to squander opportunities. Beavers, April 20th to May 20th. Introverted beavers can be obstinate and inflexible. They are mercenary in all things and seek material reward for everything they do. I'm not big into astrology, so I don't know how I feel about this. Developing beavers are constructive but cautious and conventional. They work hard at preparing things for completion. Developed beavers are practical and productive and generous and understanding towards those who share their affections. They have a strong sense of loyalty and a courage and composure that makes them good companions to have around, especially in times of crisis or danger. Extroverted beavers are warm and hospitable, but mentally conservative. They want to rest on their laurels and may resist change. They can be rather apathetic and lethargic. Deer, May 21st to June 20th. Introverted deer are inconsiderate and often lazy. They are easily bored and fickle, susceptible to every influence that comes their way. They tend to lack real purpose. I think that's Gemini in our thing. Developing deer are adaptable and enjoy variety and plenty of activity. Their sense of curiosity urges them to explore ideas, situations, and relationships, but they will generally flee from those which may threaten to tie them down. Developed deer are cheerful, intelligent, versatile, and clear thinking. Extroverted deer are candid and friendly and enjoy exchanging opinions. They are, however, likely to dissipate their energies in directions that are unlikely to be productive and beneficial. Woodpeckers, June 21st to July 21st. Introverted woodpeckers are self-protecting and hypersensitive. They can be unyielding and unforgiving and affected by fears and anxieties, most of which are imaginary. The developing woodpecker, though protective and defensive, is usually affable and kindly and has a ready sympathy towards the needs of others. The developed woodpecker is full of good intentions and the tendency is to want to keep things together. Developed woodpeckers are persistent and resourceful. Extroverted woodpeckers tend to swing between the extremes of being kindly and considerate on the one hand and harsh and even bitter on the other. Salmon, July 22nd to August 21st. I guess that's me. Introverted salmon can be erratic and impulsive and work themselves into a fury, which can be quite destructive. Relatable. Developing salmon are virile and versatile and full of go-getting drive, but they need constant praise and encouragement in order to achieve. Sounds like me. Hey, Larry, what's up? The developed salmon exudes and inspires confidence. Their cheerfulness and warm-hearted generosity make them good to have around. I think that could be me sometimes. Extroverted salmon are extravagant and egotistical and easily depressed when things don't go as they want. That sounds like me too sometimes. Brown bears, August 22nd to September 21st. Introverted brown bears are fussy and critical and see only the flaws of a situation. How dare they? It's so rude. Developing brown bears are helpful but unassuming and compassionate without sentimentality. Developed brown bears are compassionate and understanding with an ability to see things from all angles. Extroverted brown bears are unselfish and reliable and give strength to others. That's kind of like the bear in Qigong. Thanks for the thumbs up. Crows, September 22nd to October 22nd. Introverted crows are often superficial, indolent, and dependent on others. Developing crows are more self-assertive and have a capacity for leadership. They have a gregarious manner. Developed crows are psychologically well-balanced and have few inhibitions. They have a strong sense of impartiality and inspire confidence in those they are with. Sounds like a good friend. Extroverted crows will do almost anything to please. Socially, they are good mixers and great conversationalists and will fall in with the mood of whatever company they're in. Snakes, October 23rd to November 22nd. Introverted snakes are secretive and aloof. They can be scheming and manipulative. They have an argumentative disposition. Developing snakes are enterprising and energetic, but impatient. They're not content with half measures, and although intense, are prone to make sudden and unexpected changes. Developed snakes are, I don't like sudden and unexpected changes. I think I've done creative work with a few different snakes that were developing. Developed snakes are benevolent, deeply philosophical, and absorbed with the mysteries of life. They are passionate about their beliefs and put themselves wholeheartedly into their actions. Extroverted snakes will go out of their way to help others in their relationships and associations. They often bring out the abilities of others. Ooh. I'm hopeful that I can do that with people. I'm not a snake though, but I like snake medicine. Owls, November 23rd to December 21st. Introverted owls might be described as essentially moralistic humanists. They tend to set themselves very high standards. Developing owls are adventurous and constantly on the lookout for opportunities to improve the quality of their lives, but they do have a tendency to be easily sidetracked. Developed owls have a strong sense of justice and an urge to champion individual freedom of expression and action. They have a capacity to balance their idealism with practicality. Extroverted owls can be rather utopian and extreme in their ideals and rather dogmatic about their beliefs and aspirations. They are prone to be carried away into fanaticism. Just 3 more. Goose, December 22nd to January 19th. Introverted goose people tend to be pessimistic and rather severe in their approach. They are likely to be narrow-minded in their outlook and difficult to live with. Developing goose people are self-sacrificing in their determination to achieve their ambitions and possess a degree of endurance that enables them to accept hardship willingly to attain their goal. Developed goose has the capacity to lead others and is usually well organized, clear-sighted, and very determined. Extroverted goose is pragmatic and has an ability to accept seemingly adverse situations and to turn them into advantages for themselves and others with whom they are associated. Sounds pretty alchemizing. Otters, January 20th to February 18th. Introverted otters are likely to be resentful of any form of restriction or limitation and rebellious of authority of any kind. They have a strong concept of freedom, but are likely to be very self-centered. Developing otters, though gregarious and sociable, are not so readily carried away by their enthusiasms. They have a greater capacity for understanding. Developed otters strive after humanitarian ideals and social justice. They have a strong sense of fairness. Extroverted otters have deep-rooted convictions and a reforming zeal that is directed to the service of others. They have a selfless devotion to what they believe in. Wolves, February 19th to March 20th. Introverted wolves have a tendency to want to retreat from the situation they are in after a time, and in this way rebuild their strength. They have a strong ability to understand others, but are themselves often not understood. Developing wolves are idealistic and philanthropic, with strong spiritual aspirations. Developed wolves are gentle, kindly, and compassionate. They have a capacity to demonstrate love by their very actions and lifestyle. They are creative and innovative. Extroverted wolves are emotionally sensitive and impressionable. They are self-sacrificing and likely to absorb the suffering of others into themselves, and this makes them vulnerable. Determining which phase you are in and observing which phase of unfoldment that others are at provides a clear insight into the human condition and a deeper understanding of personality and behavior. What do you think about that? Do you relate to these personalities? Does it make sense to you? Are you digging it? Did you get any insight? I mean, I guess for myself, it's so true. Like, if I'm working on a project, it really helps me get praise to like keep pushing through, because it's like, there's a couple projects I'm working on right now where I've gotten criticism and like I literally have stopped working on them. So I guess I need to find a way to receive praise in order to finish the projects, which would make me what phase of a salmon needs praise? The extroverted. No, wait, that's depressed when things aren't going well. The developing. I guess I'm still developing. I am definitely a late bloomer. They just, needing encouragement to keep going. That's why, even though I feel like I can finish my own album, I really need like someone like a cheerleader. It is really hard for me to just cheer myself on. So I guess salmons are swimming upstream, and I don't know what salmons. Who's encouraging salmon in nature if they're swimming upstream? Who's the one that's like, go upstream, you could do it? Who does the salmon have? That's a good question to end on. So yeah, I think that that was interesting. It's interesting to know that there are these like horoscopes. I don't know if you call them horoscopes in the Native American tradition. Again, I would love to hear what any of you have to say about this. Mwah! See you next time.